Ayodeji Ajibade from Enchanting Cakes and Decor. So today you're welcome to class, and this is the continuation of our whimsical quarter class, the pillar quarters, treating the pillar quarters. Okay, so last week we talked extensively about these quarters and the various things that you can use them for. And I said also that you do not have to limit yourself to just cutting these shapes and pasting them on whatever you want to use it for. Unlike the other designs that you just cut out, dry, and then you use, you know. But for this one, you can play around with it, okay? And one of the ways, some of the ways in which you can play around with it, I showed you guys last week. So for those who missed the class last week, you need to watch the video. You need to watch the video. I think I just put out the edited version on the YouTube channel yesterday. Okay, that was yesterday. Mike Melrose Cakes, thank you so much, Sudi. Thank you. So I just put it up yesterday, so just go on and watch it. Be rest assured, even when I edit, the important aspects of it, I don't edit them. Okay, so it is still okay for you to watch. Be sure that you go and watch it. It is very, very important. Otherwise, you'll be lost when we start with this. But if you watch it, then you can piece one and two together, and then you arrive at just the right thing. All right. So now, let me bring the pieces we made last week, so we continue from there. Okay. Remember this? This was the first one we did last week with the scroll design. Okay, don't worry. Later. Okay, fine. I think it's showing better now. Okay, so we did that, and then we went ahead and did something. We did this, remember? So this is the one that we're actually going to now use in class. If you cannot remember that measurement, try and watch the video again. Like I said, it's not technical. No, it's very easy, but it requires some arithmetic, addition and all that. You know, just measure out. You know, remove this 2 inches from the base, 2 from the top. What you have at the center, where do you place your eyelets and all that? All those things are in the video. Okay, all those things are in the video. Let me straighten this. So just go on and watch the video. So I have made 5 of this, no 6. I think one got messed up, so I had to do another one. So it's there, drying out. I use that cylindrical pipe. Okay, that's what I used to that, and that's why it is so curvy. Okay, unlike the other flat one that would have given us something wider. They are both the same thing, but one is wider than the other. Okay, depending on the format that you use. Remember, for those who were in class last week, I made 6 of these. One got broken while I was trying to start yesterday, and I've replaced it. So I'll put that one later. So this is basically from Sunday. So Sunday, Monday, and then today is Tuesday, and it's like this. It's actually dry now. Okay. So you will not be wondering. This is the broken one. This is a piece of the broken one. You remember we made it in white. The same thing I did here. You'll be wondering how come this has those dark marks. Can we see? Mark Melrose Cakes. Thank you for that response. Okay, so fine. I wanted to be sure that you can see, so that I can now show you how I got it. Okay. All you need is just your black color, or any color that you want to use, any color at all. So all I'm going to do is just put a drop of black color. Oops. Just something very tiny. Okay, so now I have this, and I'm just going to put a little water. So I'm going to turn the table down so you can see what I'm doing. I mean, turn the camera down so you see what I want to do. Okay, so that's my color, and I have some water here. No brush. Okay, so I'm just going to put a few drops of water here. Just very little. Okay, and then mix that up. I'm just going to do one edge, okay? So I have this, and what I want to do is to ensure that the liquid goes right inside, okay, not on the surface, okay? It has to go right inside, which is the reason why I am diluting the color. It has to go right inside the pattern, right inside. So I paint everything like that. Let it go right inside. Can you see that? It has to go all the way inside. Okay? But don't make it too liquidy. Okay? Once it goes inside like that, you give it like a minute or two just for it to set. But we'll just go on and do what we want to do to still work. Once it sets, I'll then take another sponge, wet it. Now in this case, you can either use vodka or you use water. Use vodka or use water. But we know the way things are. If you have a lot, so many you're doing, and you have to use vodka, you know you have to use a lot, because you'll be cleaning and throwing away the darkened water and putting on, the darkened liquid, and putting on another liquid into the bowl. But with water, yes, you can just go on. And so this is my dampened foam, and then I just keep cleaning. You know, if you do it like this and it's not clean, rinse the foam and then come back again, do the cleaning again until you're okay with what you have, and then you have the dark color right inside, because your foam, your cleaning foam cannot get inside, so that place will not be clean, but the surface will be clean. So that's how I arrived at this one. You can see that. That's how I arrived at it. So it's just like I said, because I want a rustic finish. That's why I made it like that. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the next thing. We have our pieces, and I want to now complete the work on it. You remember we use royal icing to attach. So my royal icing is here, but we need to do something first. Now when you make your pieces, if you're using 5, please, Kellett's Cakes, good afternoon. It's good to have you here. Good afternoon. So if you're using 5 pieces, make sure you have extra, probably 1 or 2 extra, okay, just in case anything happens along the way, which you cannot rule out. You cannot rule it out. Anything could happen. Okay. So in after the class last week, I was trying to tell you something about something else we're going to do to these pieces, but then we need to do it after it had dried. So yesterday I cut out this disc. I cut out this half disc. Now you cannot cut these things out unless your pieces are dry. It is only when they are dry that's when you can cut out, because you want each piece to be able to fit inside. Okay, so we're going to have to make some adjustments here. You have to have it to fit inside the pieces. Okay, it has to fit inside. So the only way you can start to measure is when you have it dry already. And because I just cut this one out yesterday, it's not perfectly dry like that, but I can still use it. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying that is because in case you do it and then you have an issue like what we're going to have here now, putting this in, you can see it's not really going in completely. Can you see the space in between? Can you see that space? It's not going in completely. When you have this, if it is perfectly dry, you need to use a file to file the edges off. Then it will fit in. Okay, you just file the edges. That's what you do. Because if it is very dry and you want to cut out with a pair of scissors, it will only break. It will break. So, but in this case, it's not really dry like that. So I'm just going to nip off the little that I want to nip off right at the edge. Even with that, I need to be extremely careful. It's just the edges, probably where I was like using the wheel cutter to cut out. So I'm going to try it again, still a little bit more. And when you use your file, to just take it one step at a time. Don't file off too much. At each point, just keep checking it. Okay, fine, beautiful. You can see now that it is sitting. Can you see that? It's sitting well. Now, I'll just put some royal icing right around this edge. So, and then I'll place it somewhere here. You'll determine where exactly. I'll show you something now. The reason for this is not a must that you have to do this, but the reason why I am doing it, I'm going to show you now, and I want to make sure that it is upright, that it is perfectly straight. And I think with this, I may still have to remove it and come down a little. Let me show you the reason why. That's the seat for my tea light. You remember I told you last week that with this design, with the concept we're using, you will not be able to use the wired lights, the long rope lights. So if you have the tea light that you want to use, okay, you use that to check. Now if I place my tea light on this now, let's see, if I place it, I'm not going to really place it directly because it's not dry. You can still see my light, and I don't want people to see the light. I just want the light to reflect through the opening. Okay, so this first one is going to be the measure for all the others. So now let's see how far I want it to be. I want it to be down here. I want it to be down here so that it's just the reflection of the light that will be seen through the cake. So I'll make a mark of that spot, and then I will now fix my piece again. So once you determine this first one, then the rest will come easy, because now you know where to place them. Good. And you know your royal icing, I told you, put a pinch of CMC so that it dries faster and harder. It sets nicely. Don't force your pieces, especially if it's not very dry like my own. So that's it. So that's the seat for the tea light. That's the seat for the tea light. And you don't have to put the tea lights in immediately. No. You can put the tea lights in at the venue. Okay? Just get a pair of tweezers. That's especially if it is as long as this one. Okay? You get a pair of tweezers and you hold it this way, and then you just drop it inside and it sits. Do you understand? So there is no problem, issue about it. Okay, so I would do 2 of these, just do 1 more, and then we'll go on and fix on our cake. Okay, now I have my cake all ready that we're going to finish off. Okay, now let's move on. Like I said in the previous class, even from the onset, I always tell you that your pieces, when you want to attach your pieces on, see, this is even setting. This is set already. When you want to, this one is set. When you want to attach your pieces onto your cake, make sure that your cake is freshly covered. So I just finished covering this one a while ago, the one we're going to use. So I'm going to stand up now, change my position so that we can see what we want to do. But before I do that, before I go on to do that, let me show you one other thing that you need to do when you want to start to attach your pieces. Depending on how many of these pieces you make, sometimes I want them to be tight, because I want, if you see that brochure, look at it, you see most of them are tight, because I want the light to really show nicely. Okay, so I make plenty. I could make like 12, between 12 and 14. I use everything on the cake with no space in between. Okay, but in this case we're just going to be using 6. So I have this circle cut out because we're working with round cake. Okay, so I want to make sure that my pieces fall nicely in place without me having one space wider than the other. So I have half, and I'm going to have to divide what is left into 3 equally. So I'm just going to do this. Let my end just work on my ends. Once my ends can align, then I think I'm good. This needs to go in a little bit more. Okay, now we have this, and then on the inside this is touching this one. So I just have my 6 points now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to go on to my cake and mark the points. I'll mark the points on the cake. Now, for each point as it is, once I mark it on the cake, I'll ensure that this center tallies with the center of my cutout. That is how I can ensure that everything is well aligned. So the center of my paper will be in line with the center of my cutout. And if you want the center of the paper to be in line with one edge of your cutout, maintain it. Whatever you choose to do, just maintain it. So I'm going to turn the camera onto the cake we're going to work on, and then we'll continue from there. So can we all see the cake? Is the light disturbing? Can you see? Is the light disturbing, or you're okay with it? I'm trying to move it away from the window light. Okay, so can we see nicely? Okay, beautiful. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Your darlings. Okay, now then the royal icing. Let me make the mark. Okay, so I place my paper right at the center, and then I need to check where my front is, because I want one to really face the front. I remember I said I'm working on a rustic look, so this is more like it. Okay, so now this is my center. So this is how I'm going to place the cake, like so, right? So I'm just going to make my marks and ensure that the paper is right at the center, and my mark comes here. So cool. Now we have our marks. So I'm going to start attaching the pieces now. Starting with the front, but I need this to be stable. So now, see what I'm going to do? If you cannot see, please just indicate so I can adjust myself. Okay? Don't be shy. Just tell me whatever it is you want. So I'm applying on here. And remember, I'm working with the exact height of my cake. I hope my hand is not blocking. Okay. So then this middle is just to help to hold it also. Okay, and then this base, just a little. Good. So now I just take it and find my spot and find the center. I find my spot and I find the center of my cutout, and I just fix it. That's easy. So if you fix it, you know we're human. So it may be that in the course of drying, your piece was not well placed and there is a movement to this place or that place. Don't worry. And if you end up having a little opening anywhere, just fill it up with royal icing. And even when you don't have, it's nice to still pipe something round here and then just brush it down neatly, like so. Just brush it down neatly. So it helps to stick your piece. You know, it's a big piece. It's not like all those other ones that we have been working with. So you really need it to be sturdy. You need it to like be rigid enough, sturdy enough. Okay? So this is what we have done. I hope you can see. Can we see that? So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So there's no way you do this and you have accidents. Especially when after doing it, probably even if it's tomorrow that you're taking the cake, it is still okay. Where do I get yellow pen? So I just apply this here. With my real icing, I really don't need, and then use my hand to just smoothen it down nicely so that it's neat. See? So that's it. That's it. So like I said earlier, the only thing you now need to do is just to drop your light in. To drop your light in, just take your tweezer and just go down inside, and that's it. Okay? Just go down in. So I'm going to go on and fix the others. But for now, you cannot put anything in there because the stuff inside there is not dry. Okay, just give it like some hours. Please, ma, will there be a replay? Yes, crispy cakes. There'll be a replay. It will be on the YouTube channel. There is always a replay. Okay, it will be on the YouTube channel. Although it will be edited, but you will not miss all the important parts. They will all be there. So you really have not, you don't have anything to worry about. Just follow the rest of the class. So we apply a royal icing, and then we find the next spot, which is here. Find this, okay, the base. Just that tiny spot up there, not the entire base, just here. The part that is touching down. And then you find the center and just drop it, fix it on. And then do your support. And do the same thing on the other side. Just press it down. Okay, so I'll just do a third one and that'll be it. For the third one, so that at least we can have something to look at on the front side, to have an idea of what it's going to look like all around. If in the course of doing any of this, forget the fact that we have done the class. If you have questions that you want me to address, feel free to ask me. And you can always ask questions on the YouTube channel too. I'm there to answer your questions. Once I see them, I'll attend to them. Okay, and then this side. So you see, the thing is, like I keep saying about the whimsical cutter, all you need to do is cover your cake nicely. Just cover your cake. Then the cutters are the ones that will bring the beauty. They are the ones that bring out the beauty. Okay, so that is what our front is going to look like. Can you already see that it is really looking rustic all through? That it is blending with the base, the design at the base. So it's not like it's looking off it, you know. They are blending nicely together. And then you can imagine when by the time light comes in, it blends with the gold, you know, coming out from the base cake. Okay. Now initially I made these pieces. Thinking I was going to bring the cutouts together this tight. Let me just push this a little. Okay, thinking I will be putting them like this, okay, and then we'll be having these small spaces in between, which we would have filled with these pieces, these lace pieces. Okay, we would have just placed it in between. I would have created enough space for those ones to fit in. But since we are now having this, no problem. I'm going to think of something again that's going to come in between here, or we just leave it like that, but it would be nice to have something there. So on the long run, you get to see what this is going to look like at the end of the day. And also, you remember our piece? Do you guys remember this? Okay, so you can imagine this now with the design we're making now. You know it will fit. It is not coming on top of this particular one. There's another one. You know it will fit nicely. So that is how all these things come together, you know, to form something nice for you. Because now this one, this is going to come over this like that, Okay? And we may have another one on top of that before we have this. There'll be one on top of the first. So everything at the end of the day will come together nicely, and that is where, you know, working with different techniques to achieve a nice result comes into play. The Contemporary Wedding Cake Concept and Design Masterclass, we teach different techniques. So in that class, we're teaching about 15 different techniques, and at the end of the day, each student is going to conceptualize their design. Okay, they're going to conceptualize their cake, design it, as in sketch it, you know, and get it approved, and then they get to work. So nobody is copying the other person, no. And no two cake will be the same, no. You can use the same concept. So it's not a same kind of class. You see, that's why we call it a master class. We want to teach you techniques, and we want to be sure that you understand the techniques and you can apply them. Okay? But when we limit it to a particular design for each and every one, all because we want to spend 1 week in class and zap, everybody goes, you're limited to that design. You're limited to that design. And it could be a design that somebody finds easy. Like, taking myself as an example, if you teach me some things now, and I find some easier than the others, when you tell me to do something on my own, believe you me, it is that one that I'm not finding easy. That is the one I'm going to work on. Because, listen, I have my teacher around me. These other ones I know already. I don't want to show off, telling you I am good at what you have taught me. No, I'm not about showing off. But let me take that one that I don't know. Let me work on it in your presence. And then you correct me, and then I know everything. Do you understand? That is how you learn. So, thank you so much, guys. It's been a wonderful time being here with you again, and I appreciate the fact that you spent the time with me yet again. And do enjoy the rest of the day. And if there's anything anybody wants to talk to me about, feel free to call me. My number again is 08069528552. See you next week for the Ministry of Creativity live class on Instagram. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Kindly like and subscribe.